Hello everyone, I'm Hesterry and this is episode 3 of my shipbuilding tutorial. Today we're going to be continuing step 3, which is building this two-dimensional layout in-game, and hopefully we'll move on to step 4 this episode. But first, a couple more things to go over, as usual. So first of all, you've probably noticed that I haven't marked every component that I'm going to be putting down with these different colors. So for example, there are no gyroscopes marked, or thrusters, or anything like that. And the reason for this is a lot of those components can be thrown pretty much anywhere. Although I did forget some things that I need to mark, which I will do in a moment. But for the most part, things like gyros can be placed anywhere, and thrusters, it's kind of the same thing since they'll all be mounted outside the hull and not inside the ship. Also, you've probably noticed that I leave some extra space. So for example, these mark large reactors, which are 3 by 3 by 3. So that would leave this space here empty. And I do this for a couple of reasons. First of all, it leaves some extra space if I need to move things around and squeeze in other components, or if I want, I can use them as player access. For example, if something needs repairs or something like that, there's a little extra room there. That's about it. So let's get to it. So I did make some mistakes before. Oh, one of them's right here. That is not consistent. But I also forgot to mark timers and programmable blocks. Fortunately, some things changed in the last patch. We got hydrogen and hydrogen thrusters. So I'm going to be changing a couple of things with this layout. First of all, last time I was considering making these areas here into a medical room, or medical rooms with medical bays and cryo chambers, and I don't remember what I was going to put here. Anyway, I've decided that since this is basically a pure combat ship, I don't really need any medical facilities. So I'll probably use these areas instead for programmable blocks. So I'm going to mark that, and timers too, of course. And I also forgot to put in jump drives. Where do I want jump drives? Oh, that was the other thing. I'm thinking I'm going to remove these gravity drives for a couple of reasons. Even though it is efficient to have gravity drives, since I'm going to need gravity to launch these torpedoes anyway, I think I'll remove them because it's fairly likely that Keen will make gravity drives no longer functional. Because right now they're kind of cheesy, kind of overpowered, and they don't make a whole lot of sense. So I think eventually gravity won't affect mass that's on the same grid, which will make the conventional gravity drive non-functional. So I think I'm going to remove them and replace them with hydrogen thrusters. And instead, I will put gravity like here or something to use for the torpedoes. Yeah. Oop, did I do that right? Not quite. There we go. So yeah, I'll still have gravity for the torpedoes, but I will not use it for propulsion. It is kind of cheesy, and again, I think at some point they won't function, so I might as well try and design a ship that doesn't use them. And again, with hydrogen, even though the large ship hydrogen thrusters are pretty weak, at the moment anyway, it may be possible to make a pretty quick, heavy ship using hydrogen instead of gravity drives. So let's use a light blue, and mark some hydrogen tanks here. I'll have to recolor that in a minute. Oh, that's not right. Whoops. God, screwing everything up. Oh, that was the other thing. Oops. I think I need another mirroring plane there. And also, I was thinking of removing this plate for now, and I'll probably add it in later, but for now I just want to focus on the ship itself. Alright, so hydrogen tanks we will put here. Yeah. Alright, that'll do for now. Oh, jump drives. Yes. 4 hydrogen tanks will probably be enough. We'll see. Fortunately, in the next step, I'll have more time to change things around and get a better idea of what will and will not fit. But for now, oh, another thing I should fix. For clarity. Again, these are going to be rocket launchers, so they should be too long. I think that's all I need to tweak. And I think that is actually all I need to do for this step. Is there anything else? Not really. Okay, yeah, let's move on to the next step. Step 4 is to extrude this 2D layout into a 3D skeleton and begin replacing some of these color-coded blocks with actual components. So this step is your last good chance to make any significant changes. If you don't like the layout, or you think it'll look weird after armor's been added, you can still pretty easily move things around during this stage of the building process. However, once we start filling in the ship with armor in the last step later on, it'll become pretty difficult to make any changes. So if you leave a severe mistake in the build at this point, it can result in a pretty broken build later on, and it may even force you to start over. So you want to pay particularly close attention to detail and work out any final problems with your build before you move on to the last step. Also, if you didn't design a particularly elaborate sketch for your hull in step 2, this is the time to start working out how you want the hull of your ship to actually look. So the point of this isn't so much to actually build the armor of the ship, but again, it's to make sure that your layout works the way you thought it did. Basically to make sure everything fits together correctly, and again, to sort of get your hull design going and looking exactly the way you want it to. So all I'm doing is basically turning this into a skeleton, as I said. How did I want to have this? Oh, right. That looks good. So what I was thinking here, does that look right? Yes. Alright. What I was thinking is that I would have these walls here that extend out like this. This would give me room to position turrets on the broad sides of the ship instead of having them on the tops and bottoms where they could be line of sighted by an enemy pilot. So this way the turrets will be directly facing an enemy ship that's in line with these rocket launchers and torpedoes. Also, having this empty space here helps keep the mass down. Thus we have these curved walls that will both add room for weapons without adding too much extra mass. Oh, one thing I should do first is make sure that these torpedo bays have enough room set aside. Oops. Before I go too far with my design. Is that right? Oh wait, did I make that too big? No. Let's also slap this on here for reference. Oops. These will probably be the Mark III Reapers. Yeah. Thus this 3x3 shape. Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, this is enough room, so we can move on to other things. I want this to be up here as well. Yeah, let's do this. There we go. Also, I was thinking of moving the decoys into this wall, but we'll see. Oops, what did I do? Does that matter? Does that affect anything? No, okay. Does that look right? That does. Okay. Wait a minute. Whoops. And last this branch here. Also, for the sake of demonstration, let me show you another reason you should always be building in creative. Not building in creative. Creative, yes, but also be building your large ships as a station. If I were to cut off this, if this were just a large ship, or if you had voxel support turned on in the world settings, these blocks would now be separate, and I'd have to delete them and then replace the whole row. And if you accidentally cut off a whole section of your ship, it can be a real pain. But if you do not have voxel support turned on for stations, you can simply reconnect them like so. And I think this also applies to the whole station, what's it called? Station rotation mode. Yes. So leave things as a station. Don't use the rotation thing when you're building large grid ships until you're done, and then you can convert it to a ship and blueprint it. Anywho, back to business. This is a little dense, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Not much is gonna go up there, other than maybe decoys. Where would I put them? I was thinking having turrets lining this wall here, like along there, and I could have interior turrets up here as sort of a point defense to stop enemy missiles. And then I could put decoys up here, maybe? No, I know what I'll do. Okay, I've got it. I'm going to do this. Well, let me think. Is that right? Oops. Is that going to be too big? It's a little too big. That's going to take some tweaking. But if I do this, where is that going to line up? Well, no, that can be bigger. Alright. If I have an extension like that there, I could fill these gaps with decoys and remove the decoys from there, which I think is a good idea. As where they are now, enemy turrets could end up shooting my torpedoes, and that would be quite bad. Particularly if they're going to be ore bombs like the Mark III Reaper. This would be awful. So I think we'll do something like that, and put the decoys here. And of course in the other positions around as well, since everything's going to be mirrored. Oh, I should also, just for now, make these bigger for reference again, as they will be these 9 blocks of rocket launchers. And let's do, yeah, let's extend this out now. Is that enough? It's going to have to be a little bigger than that. Alright. So very quickly, this ship is taking shape. And it's no longer just a flat piece of crap. Really. As you can see, we already have a nice design going in just a few minutes. And of course, there will be a lot of detailing in the last step, which will make the ship look even better. And also, even though it appears that there will only be 2 layers of heavy armor here, the detailing will add some additional defense as well. And of course, in the last step, I can always just add extra layering if need be. That can go. What else do I want to tweak? I guess I could start adding this curve here. Wait, does that look right? That looks wrong. Let's change this a bit. I feel like it should be more gradual, right? Oops. That doesn't look right. I'm obsessing. I should move on for now. Yeah, alright. Let's leave it at that for the moment. We can tweak it more later. Let's add a bit of frame here. Oops. Where's that going to line up? There? Okay. That looks good. And this will come down like so. Yeah. Tweak that a bit. Or we could do that. Something like that. We'll come back to that. Good enough for now. Alright, what else can we do to this hull? Or should we do to this hull? Oh, we should do the bridge. Let's do the bridge real quick. Oh, before even doing the bridge, I forgot. Kind of important step that I like to take at this point. I always like to mark the front and top area of the ship, just as a reference, like that. So this way I can always look up and see where the front top of the ship is. Wow, that bug. Ooh. Okay, whatever. I guess I can't look up right now, but anyway. This arm here will just mark the front and top of the ship, so I can sort of build around that, and this becomes more relevant later on. When I place components like reactors and stuff, I like to label them according to their position within the ship, so that if players need to go through and repair stuff, they can find it more easily. And my jetpack is acting weird. Why am I flying upwards? Okay, I'm gonna reload. Weird things are happening. We'll be right back. Okay. Everything's working again. Good. That was very strange. Where was I? Right, I like to name the components according to their position in the ship, so they're easier to find if you want to repair. And if you use a damage reporting script, which I fully plan to on this ship, it becomes very easy to find things that need fixing. So, oh right, the bridge. That was the next thing I was going to do. So that takes me to the next thing. The reason the bridge is this big isn't because I expect to have a whole lot of crew in this vessel, although we'll have some, I think. More than 1, maybe 3. It's because I like to have LCDs in the bridge. And instead of using control stations, I use flight seats. And the reason for this is control stations cannot go into first person. I'm tapping my, my V key, and I cannot go into first person. On the other hand, with a flight seat, you can. So if I put LCDs on that wall there, I can have all sorts of information displayed and have it be available to all of the pilots and co-pilots and so on. And next, this bridge needs an access. So since I have reactors and stuff back there, I won't have a rear or front access. Plus I might have those plates for defense on the front and back. Instead, I'm going to have a top and bottom access. Right, that is the front of the ship. So I'll have an access here and here. Oops, why did I place a block? Derp. Like so. Yeah. Let's turn mirroring back on real quick. And then we'll turn it off. So basically I'll have a passageway on the top and bottom of the ship that passes right through so players can get in and out. Alright, I should probably mark this even better. Yeah, let's do this. Oop. My lights on? No, there we go. And on the other side too, so I don't accidentally fill this in later or something, thinking it's a mistake. Alright. What else do I have to do? I guess we could start swapping out some components. Oh, let's remove these. Okay. Oh, let's move the decoys. I deleted them already. Alright, let's replace the decoys. Oh no, I lost the pink. Need the pink. Pink. There we go. Let's put them, I think right here will be the best spot. Like that. Or something. We'll do that for now. Okay. Let's replace some components. So I'm gonna do reactors, cargo, jump drives, and hydrogen tanks, why not? So again, I will be probably deleting these components later, and then placing them and naming them at the same time in the last step. But for now, I'm going to position them mostly for reference, as it is much easier to visualize how much space you have when you're actually using the components. Let's have 2 jump drives in each area. That should be like that. Okay. I could also place the rocket launchers, but no, they're fine, whatever. Oh, gravity. Oh, I was gonna do that in the layout. Oh, right. So one concern I had was that these torpedoes are off to the side and not in line with the rocket launcher. So if you're fighting a smaller ship or you're not facing it at the right angle, hitting with the torpedoes will be kind of difficult. So I had an idea. This will take some experimentation. I should not be placing gravity yet. This will take some experimentation down the line. Probably in the last step of shipbuilding. But for now, I'm going to plan to put some gravity drives there, or sorry, gravity generators there. And I think I may be able to use them to angle these torpedoes into the target using programmable blocks. But that'll take some work later on. We'll get to that. Alright, let's put some cargo here. Alright, this is starting to look more like a ship. Absolutely looking good, though we do have a lot of empty space here. What would I want to utilize this for? redundant reactors, perhaps. I could even add some small torpedo bays here or something. I'll have to think about it. I'm not sure, but that is still a lot of empty space. That, or I could just trim down this armor in the back and make these walls fairly thin. We'll see. We shall see. Is there anything else I want to tweak? I don't think so. I think this is actually looking quite good. Yeah. I think this is good. Alright, I think that's it for this episode, everyone. Thanks for watching.